Buenos días, clase. Buenos dias is another greeting, another way to greet someone, especially in the morning. We talked about that in our last video. Buenos días. Repite, buenos días. Muy bien. When I introduced myself last class, I used the term señora. Señora. Repite, señora. Señora in Spanish means, we use it to mean Mrs. in front of, as a title, and this is the abbreviation. So in English you have MRS period, Mrs., and this would be our Mrs. Señora. So, Señora Melendez, it would be like saying Mrs. Melendez. To say Mr., we would use Señor. Repite, Señor. Muy bien. This word we also will find in the Bible in Spanish, Señor meaning Lord. Señor. To say Miss, we say use the word Miss when someone isn't married, we say Señorita. Repite, Señorita. Muy bien. So those are three titles that you'll hear in Spanish. Señor, señora, señorita. Some other words in Spanish I'd like to go over with you. It's the word for teacher. For a male teacher, maestro. Maestro. Repite, maestro. For female teacher, maestra. Repite, maestra. Maestra. Do you notice the only difference between the two words is the ending? And when we review nouns in Spanish, we're going to learn that nouns will change the ending depending on whether it's a masculine or feminine noun. And that will be a lesson we will have in the future. But just know, when you're talking about a male teacher, you're going to use maestro. Female teacher, maestra. Sometimes in Latin American countries, kids will call their teacher profe, which is short for profesor, profesor, or profesora. Same idea, profesor, male teacher, profesora, female teacher, and profe for short. The word for friend, amigo. Repite, amigo. Amiga. Repite, amiga. The same idea. The word ends in O, male friend. Amiga ends in A, female friend. And we'll talk more again about gender of nouns in a lesson coming up. So, we learned we can ask a question and we can use hola, buenos dias. And we used a question last time asking for a name. Do you remember the question in Spanish? If you're looking in the back on my board, you'll see it up here. ¿Cómo te llamas? Repite, ¿cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? Let me just grab that. Means, what's your name? Or what are you called? Or how are you called? And so we learned that this question we can ask for someone's name, and then the response would be me llamo. Repite, me llamo. Remember, me llamo means my name is. But there are also other ways to ask for a greeting question. There are other ways to say, you can say hello, good morning, but what are some other ways in English that we will introduce or use as a greeting? Can you think of any in English or maybe a language that you speak in your house? If you're thinking, what's up? What's going on? How are you? Those are all introduction questions that we can use when we're meeting someone for the first time or when we're meeting a friend that we already know. So here are a few in Spanish, and there are many in Spanish. ¿Qué tal? Repite, ¿qué tal? The QU in Spanish makes a k sound, not a qua like in English. So when you see the Q and U together, just think of the K sound. K. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal is saying like what's up or what's going on. Another one, ¿qué pasa? Repite, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? What's happening? If you were in the Dominican Republic, you would hear ¿qué lo que?, which means what's up, or really it means what, or what's the what. But we translate it, what's up, how's it going? So those are just a few examples, but there are plenty of examples of, depending what country you go to, you might hear ¿qué hubo?, what happened, or what's happening. ¿Qué onda?, which same idea, what's going on, what's happening. And onda in Spanish means wave. So they use that word kind of as that expression, what's going on. So just like in our country, there are many ways to greet someone and say what's going on or what's happening. Just as in our country, in Spanish-speaking countries, there's so many different expressions, and young people come up with them more and more, their own way of greeting and saying hello. Another custom that you will see in Spanish-speaking countries is the idea of giving someone kind of like an air kiss hello on their cheek. And that's kind of their way that they would greet maybe somebody in their family or friends, shaking of the hands, a hug. So Spanish-speaking people in all over the world show a lot of affection when they're saying hello, and that's not just Spanish-speaking people. Those are many cultures over the world have ways of greeting and saying hello. So just be aware of that it's a beautiful thing to say hello to someone, to greet someone, and every culture has their own tradition, their own customs, and how they do that. So another thing I want to go over today is the question, how are you? That's a question we can ask somebody. Maybe you know this person already. You're not going to ask them their name, but you want to say hi. Or maybe you're seeing them in the afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Hola, buenas tardes. Hola, buenas tardes. Repite. Hola, buenas tardes means hello, good afternoon. And to ask how are you, you would use this question, ¿Cómo estás? Repite, ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás means how are you? And to answer that question, I'm going to give you a few answers. There's many ways you can answer this question. The first one is to say that you're good. I'm good. This word right here means actually two words. We're going to say, repite, estoy. Estoy. Estoy bien. Estoy bien. Estoy bien means I'm good. When I said this means two words, this word right here means I am, and this word well or good. Estoy, we're going to be learning a lot about. This is actually a verb, and we're going to learn about this verb a lot this year. But just know when you see estoy, it means I am. I am good. I am well. Maybe you're just feeling okay. There are two ways I'm going to teach you. The first one is estoy así así. Estoy así así. Repite, estoy así así. Muy bien, very good. Estoy así así means I'm so-so, I'm okay. Another way to say I'm okay, estoy regular. Estoy regular. Repite, estoy regular. Regular looks like the word regular in English. Regular in Spanish means I'm okay. Well, okay, and estoy means I am. The last one I want to show you is when you're not feeling good, when you're feeling bad, but maybe not upset. Maybe you don't feel well. We just need more information. We just know that you're not okay, you're not good. And that's this word here, mal. Mal in Spanish means bad, but it doesn't necessarily means you're feeling bad in this context. So, estoy mal. Estoy mal. Repite, estoy mal. Muy bien. So, 3 ways to answer ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Estoy bien. If you wanted to say I'm really well, and I'll write this down for you to show you how to say this. Let me just grab my marker. We can add the word muy. Muy means very or much. So, if I said estoy bien, I'm good. But if I wanted to add muy after estoy, I could say estoy muy bien. I'm very good. Maybe you're feeling very badly. You're not feeling good at all. You could say estoy muy mal. So we can add this word muy to add that extra very or much. Now, so far we've asked questions that we can use for somebody that's our age or younger. So right now I'm going to talk about 2 words. And those 2 words are tú and usted. They both mean you. In English, we have one word that means you. You. How are you? What's your name? Both of those questions in English we can ask to an adult or to someone our age or younger. But like before, when I was talking to you about ¿Cómo te llamas? When we're talking to adults in Spanish, we are going to change the question. And not just to adults, to people we just met or people that we're showing a sign of respect to, maybe like a grandparent or somebody in an authority position. We want to be a little more formal in the way that we speak to them. We're going to use usted. We call this formal you. I tell kids, imagine this is if you're putting on like your best dress or your best pair of pants or clothes, you want to impress somebody, usted. Tú is more casual. Somebody that I know already, maybe this person is my age or younger, and I would use usted for someone that I have to use a title for, like señor or señora. Okay, so that's where I would use usted. So how would that look in a question? So we learned that ¿Cómo te llamas? Will change to, actually I'll use this one. ¿Cómo se llama usted? ¿Cómo se llama usted? We would use this question for if we wanted to know the name of a person in authority, a person with a title. And so this is a more formal way of asking. Instead of saying ¿Cómo te llamas?, we say ¿Cómo se llama usted? And you do see the difference in both questions. So in the bottom question, you see that there's a t here in front of that e, and in the top question, there's a s. At the end of llamas in this question, there's an s, but there's no s here. So there are some differences, and of course you see the usted up here at the end of our sentence. Both mean what's your name. ¿Cómo se llama usted? Is for, again, someone in authority, or Mr. or Mrs., an adult. So let's say it again. Vamos a repetir. ¿Cómo se llama usted? Repite. ¿Cómo se llama usted? Muy bien. Same thing with ¿Cómo estás? I could say ¿Cómo estás? To a friend of mine. I could say as an adult, I can say to a child, ¿Cómo estás? Because as an adult, I can use what we call the tú form, or the informal form to talk to someone younger than me. But younger people have to use the formal. So they wouldn't say to Señora Melendez, ¿Cómo estás? They would say, ¿Cómo está usted? Repite, ¿Cómo está usted? Muy bien. Again, you notice that the S, we got rid of that S. So it's ¿Cómo está? And then we added usted. Usted at the end. So they both mean, how are you? It's just that ¿Cómo estás? Is for people my age or younger. And ¿Cómo está usted? Are for people, for students, think of it, people that are older than you that you need to say Mr. or Mrs. to. Because I always get questions, well, I have an older brother. Do I have to use ¿Cómo está usted? No, you would use ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo está usted? Are for people that you have to call Mr. or Mrs. to. That's a good way to remember it. Now, another way, if somebody were to ask you, ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? There's one other word expression I want to teach you today, and that is to answer ¿Cómo te llamas? With, instead of saying me llamo, you could just say yo soy. Now this yo here means I. This expression means I am. And you might be thinking, Señora Melendez, you just said that right here, this word means I am. And you're right. Estoy, really, you could put yo in front of this. Yo estoy. But in Spanish, estoy, because the way it's written, I already know it means yo estoy, so I can start my sentence with just the verb in Spanish, which is a cool thing. I can drop saying I, because when I look at estoy, I know it means I am. But this also means, I could say soy, I could even start my sentence with a capital S and say soy, because soy means I am. But I can also add the yo too, which is fine. Yo soy. There are two ways to say I am in Spanish, and we're going to learn in future lessons when do we use which one. When I want to say I am Mrs. Melendez, I could say, or let me choose a name. Let's say I wanted to say my name was I am Rebecca. So I would say yo soy Rebecca. Yo soy Rebecca. So instead of saying me llamo Rebecca, I could just say yo soy Rebecca. Either one, it's I am or my name is. And you could actually say the same thing in English. Oh, I'm Rebecca. What's your name? And remember when we said, and you, like what's your name, back to the other person who just asked us, we could say, y tú. Remember, y tú means and you. This y by itself in Spanish means and. And you? Remember, tú means you, so and you. But what if an adult asked us and we wanted to ask that adult what was their name back to them? What do you think we would do? What would we write? If you're thinking, and I think I lost my card, I'm just going to write on the back of this one for you right now. What would we ask? If you were thinking y usted, you would be right. ¿Y usted? So if I'm a kid and an adult just asked me, ¿Cómo te llamas? And I would say, yo soy Rebecca. ¿Y usted? And you? This is the formal way to say to an adult, and you, what's your name? So, those are some expressions that you need to know, and we are going to keep going over the formal and informal you because it will keep popping up in our lessons. So we need to know sometimes a way to speak to an adult and a way to speak to someone our age or younger. So sometimes you will see the abbreviation of usted right here. You will see this written in a shorter way, and I'm going to show you that right now. I'm going to just write it. Sometimes you'll see people write UD period, and that's just a shorter way, an abbreviation is when we take a word and we kind of make it shorter, we add a period just so instead of writing the word. So usted, UD, this means the same as this. It's just making it shorter. So what we're going to do today, what you're going to do is I'm going to tell you in just a moment, each grade you'll have your assignment on what you're going to do. One last thing. Usually at the end of our conversations, after you've said, hola, buenos días, ¿cómo te llamas? Sorry, my phone. ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Rebecca. ¿Y tú? Me llamo Amber. And then we learned after everybody introduces ourselves, we can say, mucho gusto, which means nice to meet you. Repite, mucho gusto. Muy bien. Now, one person can say mucho gusto, nice to meet you, and the other person can say this word right here. I'm going to say it slow. It's a big one. Igualmente. Repite, igualmente. 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 That just means same. So, if someone says mucho gusto to you, you can say igualmente, meaning same, like back to you, same thing. Pleasure to meet you. So, 3rd grade, you're going to complete a matching activity. You're going to practice saying each word in Spanish or phrase. Each Spanish word or phrase, you're going to match it to the English word. Okay? And that will be posted with this lesson on Google Classroom. And you can stop the video now, 3rd grade, and go right to do your work. Again, if you have any questions, you can always message me on Google Classroom. 4th grade, you are going to complete the matching activity, matching the Spanish to the English, drawing lines, and you're going to fill in the blanks in a conversation below on the activity. So again, any questions, feel free to message me on Google Classroom. And you can stop the video now. 5th grade, you are going to complete the matching activity and you're going to actually write a conversation below it, and I'll give you an example on how to use the vocabulary to write out your own conversation. Again, you're going to practice, always practice saying the words, and even practice with somebody in your family so you can understand the flow of the conversation. Adios, hasta luego, goodbye, see you later.